as we are learning that the CBI SIT will very soon examine none other than Sandeep Singh. In fact, some dates are yet to be fixed for the same. As of now, the first set of questioning revolves around those who were present in Sushant's house and prime suspects. This is big breaking news coming in as the CBI is all set to summon none other than Sandeep Singh, whose role has been under question ever since details have emerged. And now it is Sandeep Singh who very soon will be questioned by the CBI. Republic has been continuing to get you all the details, especially when it came to those videos and pictures of how Sandeep Singh was calling the shots at the Cooper hospital, and why exactly was he allowed to take those decisions when he wasn't even as close to the family, was a claim made by himself, who had told Arnab Goswami in an interview that he had not even spoken to Sushant since the last 1 year. Several questions that have been looming, and most importantly, how Republic has been on the trail to find out more about Sandeep Singh and for him to speak to us, but he has gone missing ever since his role has been exposed. I want to cut across to Prakash Singh, our senior editor, who is now joining us live, because Prakash, we kept saying it all along while putting out pictures of the suspicious role of Sandeep Singh, that it is a matter of time until he will be questioned by the CBI, and now it seems that the summon dates are to be fixed very soon. What more can you share with us?
Well, Sandeep Singh has been under the scanner and the eye of controversy for quite some time, and today what we have exposed is 4 calls made between him and the ambulance driver from 14th to 16th. One fails to understand what business did he have to communicate with the ambulance driver on 16th of June, 2 days after Sushant Singh Rajput's death, and thrice on 14th June till 10 p.m. And the call lasted for more than 1 minute, 57 seconds, 38 seconds. So there were longer calls between him and the ambulance driver. Second, the ambulance driver whom I spoke to clearly says that he was called by the Bandra police. But one fails to understand either the Bandra police told the ambulance driver to get in touch with Sandeep Singh, or the ambulance driver is trying to hide some information because he has had communication with Sandeep Singh on 16th June. So after 2 days of death after Sushant Singh Rajput, one fails to understand the logic and reason behind communicating with Sandeep Singh when the Bandra police had hired the ambulance. Now, one fails to understand this. Now, the role of the Mumbai police has also been under question for quite some time after DCP Tirumekar spoke to Riya Chakravarti 5 times. So, this needs to be investigated, and we are told that the CBI would be summoning Sandeep Singh very soon. Back to you.
And you know, Prakash, Republic has been on the trail to find Sandeep Singh. A lot of our reporters who have tracked down his residence have gone and tried to get in touch with him, with his family members, but those attempts that have been evaded every single time. Syed Sohail, who might be joining us very shortly, was outside his residence this morning. Our other colleagues, Yesha, Alisha, who continue to find out more about Sandeep Singh, to try and question him, to try and question others who live in his home. But clearly, he has been hiding and he doesn't want to face our questions, especially after how he was exposed in that interview with Arnab, where he was completely cornered of the kind of answers he had given.
Well, yes, today after we exposed his call details, I tried contacting Sandeep Singh on phone as well, but his mobile phone was switched off. He has gone into hiding because I wanted his version as well, because there were call details which exposes that he's been having communication with ambulance driver for 4 times. Not only ambulance drivers, but various other people which he may be friendly with. We are not drawing any conjectures to those people, either be it Sanjay Nirupam or Suraj Pancholi's mother or various other people. But under question is the communication between this ambulance driver and Sandeep Singh, because he has no business, he's not from the film fraternity. The ambulance driver, neither Sandeep Singh was the relative of Sushant Singh Rajput. If the ambulance driver had to communicate, he had to communicate it with the police, because police had to escort the body to Cooper Hospital, not Sandeep Singh. So one fails to understand this. We wanted his version, but his mobile was switched off. I personally tried calling him several times. Earlier, I have spoken to him in the past, but one fails to understand why is he in the hiding, because his role is dubious and under the scanner now. So it's a matter of time now that the CBI would be interrogating him as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And Prakash, firstly, inconsistencies between the statements of Sanjay Nirupam and Sandeep Singh, and the question we have been asking again and again, who's lying? Secondly, Republic has spoken to so many of Sushant Singh Rajput's friends and those who've been close to him. None of them have really pointed out towards the friendship between Sandeep Singh and Sushant and said that they don't even know about Sandeep Singh. So much so that even Smita Parekh, who's been so close to Sushant Singh Rajput's family, has gone on to say that she didn't even see Sandeep Singh anywhere around or close to Sushant Singh Rajput. And he himself made that admission while in an interview to Arnab, saying that he had not been in touch with Sushant Singh Rajput for the past 1 year. Then again, that big question, that why exactly was he calling the shots at Cooper Hospital?
Well, one fails to understand this. The call details of Sandeep Singh that we have accessed today also goes to suggest that there have been no communication with Sushant Singh Rajput for the past 1 year. That is for sure. So it means that he was not very close friend of Sushant Singh Rajput as he claimed earlier. And maybe he wanted to brand himself in the death of Sushant Singh Rajput by claiming that there is so much media glare and hype about Sushant Singh Rajput's death. So maybe he would have wanted to brand himself because the world did not know about Sandeep Singh earlier. Now he's under media glare, but now for the wrong reasons, of course, because he is under the eye of controversy, scanner for his dubious role. There are questions being raised as to why he went to Cooper Hospital. There are videos that have emerged of his dubious role. Then the way he stage managed and took over the events leading to the cremation center raises a lot of questions. And he emerged from nowhere to handle everything. And he tried getting in touch with the family also, but it seems that the family has also blocked his number ever since he's been under controversy. So all attempts in vain now that the CBI would soon be interrogating Sandeep Singh for sure. And also the role of the Mumbai police as to how this ambulance driver got in touch with Sandeep Singh, who is not even a distant relative of Sushant Singh Rajput. What business did the ambulance driver have to talk to Sandeep Singh on 16th of June? That is around 48 to 50 hours of death of Sushant Singh Rajput, as the body was cremated on 15th of June itself. So one wonders what was the reason. And this ambulance driver is now saying that he doesn't even know who Sandeep Singh is. Either he is trying to hide something or is he scared of something. So that needs to be investigated upon by the CBI, both from the Bandra police officials as well as from the ambulance driver and also Sandeep Singh.